welcome to the UAE. Thank you so much for being here. Loving the shirt.
How's everybody doing today? Okay, you could probably do a little bit better than that. How's everybody doing today? That's good.
Okay, so
I would like to say thank you. Thank you for having me in your beautiful country. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for thinking enough of me to have me to come. You know, I'm from far away from here, so when people love you enough to invite you so far away, it's truly a blessing from God, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
comfortable? Ready to go? A lot of these students are so excited to be here, Steve. They sent in a lot of questions that they want to ask you. And so guys, are we ready to ask Steve? Yeah? Okay, listen, if I call your name out, please just stand up so Steve can see your face so we can relate the face to the question, all right? Okay. Cheyenne from Abu Dhabi India School. Is he here? Right, Steve, he would like to know, when and why did you decide that you wanted to be a comedian?
Well, my dream of being a television star and comedian started when I was very young. I was 10 years old. You know, it's very important that you have dreams and visions. You have to want something in your life, you know, and at 10 years old, I knew I wanted to be something special. I had, look, you know, I grew up very poor. You know, we were very, very poor, and I didn't want to be poor. I just didn't. I was tired. At 10, I was tired. I was tired of being poor at 10, so it was quite a struggle, but I had always dreamed of being on television. I would watch TV as a young boy, and I just wanted that, and it became very, one of the most important facets of my life was to aspire to be something more. You have to have dreams and visions. Without it, you perish. You cannot survive in this world without wanting something more, because it propels you to get an education. It propels you to greatness, but you have to want more. And so probably 10 years old, I started thinking about being on TV, which coming from a very poor neighborhood wasn't that good of a thing, because I mean, look, who do I tell this to? Who do I tell this to? I couldn't tell it to my parents, you know, my mother and father. TV, a star, what? No, you're going to get a job like your brothers, and you're going to work as a construction worker like your father and your brothers. That's what you are going to be. But God had put so much more in my head at 10. I just wanted to be more. So that was the beginning for me, 10 years old. Does that answer the question?
Oh, absolutely. So speaking about your childhood, yeah, give it up for Steve. So whilst growing up, going through that, who were your mentors? Who did you look up to growing up?
Well, see, television in the United States is it's different, and you have to be careful because, you know, it's Hollywood is a different place. I don't recommend it. I do not recommend Hollywood to anybody. It's an ugly place. It's very tough. If you are not a person of faith, Hollywood is very dangerous. It's a lot of corruption. You know, look, I'm trying to talk to young people. I see a lot of old people in here too. So I'm trying to fix my message because I want to really get through to the young people. But I also want to tell you the truth. You know, I don't want to just say something so I can get my segment over with and go home. I want to say something to young people that touches you, that really matters. So when I was young, I looked up to people who I saw on TV. There were no black people on television in the United States when I was a little boy. The first black person to ever come on television was Bill Cosby, the very first one. So when I saw Bill Cosby on a show called I Spy, it was the first African American that had ever had a leading role on television and could speak. He talked back to people. And I just thought that was fascinating because I like talking back to people, even when I wasn't supposed to. So Bill Cosby was first for me. And then I started looking at comedy, and I saw George Carlin, and I saw Richard Pryor, and I saw people like that. Jonathan Winters. They're old people now, you wouldn't know none of them, but for me, as a young person, it was really, my start was for Bill Cosby, my first role model that I saw.
Great, Bill Cosby, round of applause for that. This question's from Apple International School. Now, growing up, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to execute your vision and your dreams. How focused did you have to stay, and how committed? What were the sacrifices you had to make along the way?
Well, listen, on the way to accomplishing your dreams and visions, there's going to be a lot of challenges. There's going to be a lot of setbacks. It's not going to be easy. And discipline is a huge part of it. But more important than discipline is your faith. You are a religious country. If you do not hold on to your faith, whatever it is, you cannot make it. You can't. I'm sorry. I don't care what your faith is. Without your faith in God, along with the discipline, you will never make it. You cannot get to the top without faith. If you get to the top without faith, it's temporary. It will not last. You have to stay focused. Because listen to me, it's really, really hard to be successful. Let me tell you this. Look at me. It's really, really hard to be successful. But I want to tell you something else. It's really, really hard not to be successful. I've been both. See, you see me today, but you didn't see me in school when I had a severe stuttering problem. I couldn't talk without a stutter. And I flunked out of school. You're looking at a man who was homeless. I lived in a car for 3 years. Me, you see all of these TV shows and Suits and Hollywood, but I lived in a car for 3 years. I made a lot of mistakes. You have got to be really, really focused because challenges are going to happen all throughout your life. You are going to be told no over and over and over again. You are going to have people in your family who will not believe what you tell them. I'm going to be a TV star. No, you're not. No, you cannot. You cannot be a TV star. No one in this family is a TV star. No one in this neighborhood is a TV star. No one in this school is a TV star. And you stutter. And you black. So what? Now you're going, whoa. I cannot stop being black, so this is with me. So my focus and my faith, my belief in God, He has kept me through all of my dark moments. When I was living in that car for 3 years, God, He kept me. He kept me understanding that He was just testing me, that I had to pass all my tests. That's what happens to a lot of old people. See, they stop passing the test They thought that because something happened to them negative along the way, that it wasn't meant to be. That's not true. It was just a test. You got to keep passing the test. You dig? Life is never going to be just, oh, you just can't, it's silly. You can't just, oh, happy. No, something gonna happen. Somebody you love gonna die. Something you want to happen won't happen. Something you attempt to do, you're going to fail at it. This is life. This is all the time. So the dream that you have has to be bigger than all your problems. My dream was so big, it was bigger than all my problems. So when I was homeless, my dream was bigger. When they told me no, my dream was bigger. When they said you are black, we would not hire black people here, my dream was bigger. What? Bigger. My dream was bigger than all my problems. And my faith in God, what they gonna do? What? When you have God, you have everything. You have everything. That's serious business. That's the business. I like this audience right here. They're very happy. They clap a lot. I like that.
Yes. You guys look beautiful from up here. So Steve, talking about your journey and the ups and downs, how important would it be to have the right people around you whilst you're trying to chase your dreams?
Well, see, that's the hard part, because you want to try to surround yourself with like-minded people. But you also got to understand, this is something my father told me a long time ago. I don't know if this translates to you. Let me see. My father said, everybody come with you, can't go with you. Now this is hood, you know what I mean? When I say hood, this is poor people think very richly. Everybody come with you, can't go with you, which means there are some people in your life that can only go with you to a certain point, and they can't go anymore because they cannot think. See, let's say, listen to me. You say, I want to be a doctor. I'm just using that. I couldn't have been a doctor. I'm not that smart. I can't read, that good, so me being a doctor was out the question. And then I don't really care for sick people, so it's just not a good look for me being a doctor. Let's say you want to be a doctor, and you tell some people, I want to be a doctor. And you go to high school, and you graduate from high school. And they go, yeah, he's going to be a doctor. And then you go to college, and some people you go to college with drop out of college. And you stay and you say, I am still going to be a doctor. Well, the person that dropped out of college, how can they possibly believe that you will be a doctor when they can't even finish school themselves? So that person goes away. And you go a little bit higher. You graduate from college and you're getting ready to go to medical school, and the people that you went to college with, two of them drop off, or they don't get accepted into medical school, then they go away. So how can they possibly think that you will complete the task of being a doctor when they keep falling away? See, it's like this. Let me show you something. When a rocket ship takes off, back in the old days, there was 4 tanks of gas connected to this rocket ship. 4. In the USA at Cape Canaveral, Cape Kennedy, and they go 5, 4, 3, 2. And this rocket starts blasting up. It takes 4 tanks to get the rocket off the ground. But as soon as it comes off the ground, 2 of those tanks stay on the ground. Then as the rocket ship goes higher, Back in the day when they used to show the rocket ships taking off, you see it getting high into the sky. You see one more tank fall off into the ocean. It falls into the ocean. Now there's only one tank. In order for this rocket to get into orbit, in order for you to get to where God wants you to go, eventually you will have to lose the other tank so that you can get into orbit and start orbiting the earth. If you do not get rid of the tanks along the way, you will be too heavy. There are people in your life who are just hanging on to you, pulling you down, negative, don't believe, they just they like dead weight. You gotta let them people fall off, man. You gotta let these people go, because when you get rid of them, then you can orbit to where God wants you to go. So that's what you have to remember about the journey, that you are going to lose people along the way. The whole time you're going to lose a lot of people. So I hope that makes sense to you, you know. When I speak, I don't use paper, you know, I don't write and then talk. I only come if people will allow me to say what's in my heart, you know. I don't like writing it down. I know my life. If you ask me about my life, I don't gotta write that down. I've been living this the whole time, so I speak. I don't want to offend anybody, I speak. I'm kind of loud, you know. See, like the baby, I'm kind of loud, you know. And so that's how I talk the way I talk, because but I'm passionate. I want young people to get to where God has planned for you. I want, and that's why I'm so passionate, because you can be great, but you have to make the decision to be great. This is a decision. God gives us the power of choice. You get to decide if you want to work at the bank, if you want to ride a bus, if you want to sail the ocean. You get to make decisions. You've got to make smart decisions for your life. But you have the power, and when you include God, you have the power to be anything. You can be great, or you can be nothing. You have to make the decision. If you like being nothing, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to be with you, but you can make the decision. But what you cannot do is allow your friend next to you who has decided to be nothing to cause you not to be nothing. That's what you got to be careful of. If your friend don't want to do the things that's necessary, you should stop being his friend. Okay, there was no clapping for that, cause no. Oh, I know what's happening. See, a lot of y'all, you didn't want to clap because you standing next to him. Yeah, so you couldn't clap, but it's okay. Some of y'all went. Okay.
Steve, now let's talk about smart decisions. Yeah, go on, let's do another round of applause. Come on, guys, for Steve. Let's talk about the smart decisions that you were talking about then, because a lot of people in their journey come along the first hurdle and they would fail. And a lot of people don't know how to get back up, pick themselves back up and keep going. You said you've had lots of ups and downs in your journey. What has kept you motivated to get back up, go to the second hurdle, go to the third, understanding that it's all part of the journey?
Well, when you make the decision to be successful, like I said earlier, and you have to expect there's going to be trouble. Life, okay, how can I say this to you? Listen to me. Life is 10%. Life is 10% what happens to you. It's 90% what you do about it. See, life is going to happen to all of you. I don't care who you are. You're going to lose a loved one. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be told no. You're going to fall. You are going to fail many times to become successful. It is a part of success. It is the process. You have to fail in order to be successful. That's the way it works. There's no other way. Listen to me. For 30 years, I made a lot of money telling jokes. I write jokes. Me, I don't care what you say. When I want to be funny, that is my God-given gift. I can be funny. But listen to this though. I done wrote a lot of jokes that wasn't funny. I have written some stuff that I thought was hysterical. In my house, I was writing, I went, boy, when they hear this, they're gonna be screaming, yes! Went out on stage that night, did the joke, nothing. I mean nothing. I have written more jokes that did not work than actually worked. I have failed far more times than I have ever succeeded. Okay, see, let me show you. Okay, check this out. Okay, listen. Michael Jordan, who is like really the greatest basketball player of all time, right? Michael Jordan has taken 985 game-winning shots. That means before the buzzer, Jordan has raised up 985 times to try to win the game. Michael Jordan has only made 145 of them. He done shot the ball 980 some times to try to win the game. Michael Jordan has only made 140 game-winning shots. You don't care nothing about the failure. You don't know nothing about the 800 times he missed. But oh, you cheer and clap for the 145 that went in. You see, that is how it works, man. That is the magic of how it works. They only gonna write about the victories. They only laugh at the jokes I write that's funny. You don't even know the jokes I wrote that didn't work because I stopped telling them. But you laugh at the movies and the YouTube clips, and you know, God has made me famous and I don't even know. I don't even know how. I just dreamed of one day becoming globally. You know what, let me tell you, I asked God to, about 10 years ago, I told God I wanted him to increase my global brand and persona. I wanted to be more global. I didn't want to just stay in the United States. I wanted to go see the world. I wanted people around the world to know of me. So God began to change me. So he said, you will have to be more than just funny in order for this to happen. So I did not know that my motivational tapes, the stories I've told about my life would go on a platform called YouTube, because 10 years ago, what was YouTube? I didn't know. I just started telling my story, and they started putting it on YouTube and Facebook, and people started finding out more of who I was. So when I was asking God to increase my global brand and persona, I had no idea how he was going to really do it. Until 2015, they hired me to become the host of the Miss Universe pageant. That was God. So the very first time I hosted the show, we got to the end, and I was to announce the winner of the 2015 Miss Universe pageant. Now, we had rehearsed this all week long, we would announce the second runner-up and then the winner. Second runner-up and then the winner. They changed it. I said, that's the best way to do it. So that night, and all in rehearsal, 2 names on the card. They just put fake names on the card because they don't know. All through rehearsal, 2 names on the card. That night, when it's time to announce the winner, the teleprompter, they handed me the card. I see the 2 names, and I got the card down. The teleprompter, right inside the camera, says, and the new 2015 Miss Universe is, that's what it said. I read that, I'm looking. That's it, I'm reading, I can read. I ain't all that smart, but I can read. The new 2015 Miss Universe is, I wear an IBF in my ear. It's 2 names on the card. He says, say the second name, hold, hold, hold. Now, Miss Columbia. Great job, Steve. Go in the back, set up for the close. I go in the back. 2 minutes later, the stage manager comes to me and goes, Steve, you said the wrong name. Who are you talking to? He said, Steve, you said the wrong name. I didn't say the wrong name. I read the teleprompter, then I read the name on the card. I read it. It's right there. It said Miss Columbia. It ain't 2 of them, it's just 1. He said, but they put a 3rd name on the card. It was under your thumb. I said, wait a minute. We've been practicing all week with just 2 names. Who put the 3rd name on the card? When was y'all gonna tell me? He said, don't worry about it. We'll straighten it out tomorrow in the newspaper. I said, oh, no. I go out here now because my father raised me to be a man of honor, that when you make a mistake, you have to own up to it. So I said, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna tell them now, because the winner was really Miss Philippines. Miss Philippines was the winner. I said, Miss Columbia, it's a mistake, I go out. I said, I made a huge mistake. My wife was on the 3rd row. I saw her face. My son was sitting next to her. I saw them, they looked so hurt for me. It was the worst mistake in television. So I said, I'm sorry, but this is the mistake that was made. I said, it was my fault. Okay, I shouldn't have, no, don't clap, because I shouldn't have. I said, so I took it. So they took the crown off this woman's head and put it on the other woman. This is horrible for this young girl. So I'm in the back, I go to the press conference, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's over with, I go to sleep about 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't sleep, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting up to leave Las Vegas to go home. I go outside, reporters are everywhere. I get on the plane, reporters are everywhere. I land in Atlanta, reporters are everywhere. How could you? You're the stupidest person. This is the biggest mistake ever. I could do nothing. I could not leave my house for days, man. People were driving by my house tying notes on rocks and throwing it over the gate with names on it. It was horrible. Within 48 hours, my name, Steve Harvey, had been Googled 4 billion times. 4 billion times in 48 hours. I was the most famous person on planet Earth in 48 hours. God had increased my global brand and persona. I did not appreciate the way he did it, but I was the most famous person in the world for 48 hours. You see, that was a big fall. That was a fall. They wrote about me in the papers. His career is over. He's ruined. He will never recover from this. He is not going to be on TV anymore. How could you? They wrote that all about me. But they did not know that the God I serve is in control of my life. Not them, not the media, none of them. It is God. And so he had a different plan for me, because I had gotten up so many times before, because I had fallen. I was homeless for years and lived in a car. He got me up. I lost my mother. He picked me up. I lost my father 3 years later. He picked me up. My big brother died. He picked me up. He kept picking me up. I am so used to getting up, to getting back up. Every time I get knocked down, I keep getting back up over and over and over again. So let me show you something about you. Let me teach you something now. All of you in here have had some bad days. All of you in here have had some days where you felt like you wasn't gonna make it. All of you in here have had some crushing things happen to you, and you did not see no way you was gonna make it. All of you in here have felt so badly sometimes you did not know what to do. But let me tell you something about you. Your track record for surviving bad days is 100%. You, the one who thought you weren't gonna make it, who thought you couldn't get up again, who thought it was over, who thought it was the worst day you've ever had, your track record for surviving bad days is 100%. So what would make you think that you won't survive the next bad day? Because God keeps getting you up over and over and over again. So when I fall, I just get up again. Man, he is really good at this.
So, Steve, you are pretty much dubbed by everyone in showbiz as the hardest working man in Hollywood. So, for someone who just told the crowd that, you grew up, the goal was to be a TV star, how was it when you got your first TV show and your first gig? How was that feeling?
Well, I got labeled the hardest working man in Hollywood because of my father. My father was a coal miner. We were very poor. My father made $5 a day. He was a coal miner. He had 5 kids. My mother was a Sunday school teacher. My mother taught Sunday school. My mother never worked a day in her life. My father took care of my mother and all his kids. So my father taught me very young. He said, listen to me, son. They can out-sing you. They can outrun you. There were people who can out-jump you. There are people who will out-dress you. There are some people who can out-talk you. There are some boys who can out-throw you. There are some people who can out-dance you. But don't you let no man living outwork you. Nobody can outwork me. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. You can't outwork me. You might be smarter than me, but you can't outwork me. You can't out-hustle me, not Steve Harvey. I'm a hustler, man. I'm a bad man. I'm a hustler for real. No one, I don't care how much money they got. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what their family name is. You cannot outwork me. I won't let you. If you stay up for 5 hours, I stay up for 6. If you go to bed at 11, I go to bed at midnight. If you get up at 6, I get up at 5. If you go to lunch for an hour, I go to lunch for 45 minutes. If you come to work early, I come in earlier than you. That's how I work. So, my first TV show was Showtime at the Apollo. Now, I have been homeless when I got this TV show. I have been homeless for 3 years. I lived in a car. But I was telling jokes, and so I had some videotapes, and they saw it, and they asked me to come and perform. I performed, I did well. They asked me to come again, I did well again. They offered me the job of hosting Showtime at the Apollo. They paid me. It was the most unbelievable feeling, because you look, I went from zero money to back then in 1992, I think, I made about, for the 1992, I made about 22,000 a week. Now listen to me. In Hollywood, that's nothing. That's nothing. But for me, it was everything. You go from zero to $22,000, you gotta be kidding me. I thought I was rich. And to me, I was rich. And so that first check, I spent all of it. I didn't even try to save no money. I took it to the bank, I cashed it. I got $22,000 cash in my pocket. I was not leaving my money in the bank because I had been homeless so long, I needed my money in my pocket. I had $22,000 cash in my pocket. Yeah. Now, in America, and listen to me, in America, that's not safe. That's not safe. This is not your country. No, this is not the UAE where you don't have crime here. You don't. You have no idea how fortunate. You can actually walk down the street in peace. You do not have to look around and worry about someone robbing you. You get to walk and not be afraid. You have a peaceful country. You don't even know. See, because you live here, you don't appreciate it, I don't think. You are in peace, you think this is how it's supposed to be in the rest of the world. That ain't how it is. That ain't how it is. You put $22,000 in your pocket in the United States and walk down the street with it, and they find out you got it, you're not gonna have it much longer. Somebody gonna come. But you live here. Look, there's no crime here. There's no robbery. Nobody killed nobody last night. You know how many people got killed last night back home? Somebody got killed where I'm from last night. No one. I watch your news, even though it's in Arabic and I can't understand nothing. I'm watching the news. I didn't see no pictures of no dead people. Did nobody have no chalk marks on the ground? There was no yellow police tape, nothing. Y'all was talking about building your new beach over here. And they had the book fair on the news. I saw me and my wife on the news this morning. I was clapping, I was excited. You have no crime. I wish you understood what you have here. That's crazy. It's no crime. When y'all leave here, nobody gonna rob you. When you go outside, your car is still outside. You know how many times I done went outside and my car was gone? So that was a big moment for me, to be able to walk with $22,000. I spent it all because I didn't know how to save. I lost all my money a couple times too, but it was only the beginning, you know. And once I saw what that was like, I wanted to do more. But what God has shown me is God gives me more to help more people. I'm not to make the money I make and live this life. My mother told me, said, if God blesses you to get a house up on the hill, you have to show others how to get a house on the hill too. You have to. And so I guess that's why I'm here, to share with you how to get on the hill. If you ain't there, it's a lot of people over here already on the hill. I'm just talking to the kids that ain't on the hill. Because you might be on the hill, but you're in your mom and daddy's house on the hill. You might want to get your own house on your own hill one day. So that's why I'm here.
Amazing. So let's talk about your successes. Achieving your goals over and over again, so many years in the business. How do you then stay humble and grounded? How have you done that so far?
Well, because I know where I come from. You know, somebody asked me, they said, Steve, why you work so hard? Because I'm running from my past. See, I'm running from my past. The person you see today is not who I've always been. God changed me, man. God turned me into this man. He's been making me. God has been shaping me for a lot of years. It's like when you make mistakes. You make mistakes so you can learn. You don't learn from winning. You learn when you lose it. See, Michael Jordan, when I was telling you about them shots he made, the only reason he was making the game-winning shot, because they was losing. They was losing. You got to lose to understand the winning side of life. So I've always understood that much of my life. I done slid off track here with your question because I wanted to say something else.
How to stay humble and grounded in a world where you're succeeding?
See, a lot of times when I'm talking, I go off into a story and then I forget where I was at.
I'll keep you on track.
I just had that moment just now. I knew y'all didn't know what I was doing because you stopped clapping, so I said, okay, cool, must be making, don't try to, don't try to help me now. But listen, it's important to just remember where you come from. Just remember. That's the one thing that'll keep you humble. You have to remember where you're from and you have to be grateful. Because it can go the other way. See, you can want to be successful, but without God's grace and mercy, you won't become successful. So why would you get there and all of a sudden swell up? I'm the greatest now. No, you're not. No, you're not. You have to remember where you're from and you have to stay grateful. There's not a day that I don't thank God for this life He's given me. There is not a single day. Because when I was homeless, you know, I made God a promise. I told God, I said, God, if you let me make it, if you just let me make it, when I get there, I'm gonna tell everybody it was you. So that's my mission. See, let me show you this. Your career is what you're paid for. Your calling is what you're made for. God made me famous and I made money. That was for my career. But his calling to me was to show other people how to get a house on the hill. So that became why I was famous. To show other people how to be this way. To cross across oceans to tell my story. To cross religious beliefs. When I sat with Your Highness yesterday, he told me that Islam, this is what he told me, I'm repeating directly what His Highness told me. He said that Islam believes in all faiths, that it is a religion of peace, that Islam believes in Muhammad the Prophet, in Jesus Christ, in all of it. That is what being a Muslim is. This is what he told me. You see, he made me yesterday comfortable with who I was. This is who, my mother was a Sunday school teacher. What you want me to be? What? My mother was a Sunday school teacher. She taught church, Sunday school. That's what I was raised in. What else I'm gonna be? What? But I have to come in places that are different and let you be who you are. Because I am not right and you are wrong. You are right. You are 1,000% correct in Islam. Islam is 1,000% correct. It's your faith. It works. How can I say different? My faith works for me. It is for me. It is in my heart. It works for me. My God has to judge me for me. Your Highness told me yesterday, he said, I can't repeat everything because it's very private, but he's such a brilliant man. He understood. He said, man, there is a heaven, there is a hell. How you get there, that's up to you. I just want to go to heaven. My life, I had enough hell. I don't want no more. I just want to go see heaven. What it is I'm assuming some of us is going. I'm assuming some of us ain't. You just have to decide. I'm thinking about going though. Now the room kind of got a little tight on this subject right here, so we're gonna move past this. I was just telling you who I am. That's who I am. If you can accept that about me, I can accept it about you. Huh? And yesterday, my man Jay, he bought a tailor to my room, and I got, how many did I make, Jay? 4? They making 8 caftans for me. So tomorrow, it's caftans? 8, they made 8 of them me. So tomorrow, I'm gonna have on my caftan tomorrow. I'm gonna be rocking the caftan when you see me tomorrow. Yeah. I haven't quite figured this out yet. I don't know. I've been trying to work that out. Cause a lot of y'all like the way y'all do it, like the dude right there, he got his cocked up on one side. I like that. Then the other dude, he got hit, and then one dude had his pulled over. I said, woo! So I gotta figure my style out, you know. But I have my caftan tomorrow. I'm gonna have it later today, so I'm gonna be nice.
I think Steve's gonna start some fashion trends in the UAE tomorrow. Steve.
Yeah, I kind of messed up though because I was trying to get some more stuff put on it, you know, some embroidery, and he told me you cannot do. I wanted to put some, you know, some designs on it. He told me I can't do that, so I'm gonna have to. I got one white one, but I got a lot of other colors. Just wanted to try something other than white. But y'all see me, I'm gonna have on a blue one. I got green, yellow, gold, blue. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. This Steve Harvey, I'm a star. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna look different. Everybody going, no. Yeah, somebody gotta do it.
Steve, you are a star. Now the successes continue. It doesn't seem like you're going to stop anytime soon, to be honest. So is it fair to say you can never be too successful? Is that a fair statement? When does it stop? When is it okay to stop?
Well, that's up to the individual. I think in my line of work, if I retire, what do I do? What? A lot of people retire and they just wither away. They dry up. They sit. I've seen old people retire and they just start folding up. They stop going to work. They stop living. I don't know that I can do that because I'm different now. I'm a motivational speaker. I travel. I'm taking my foundation to Africa. I'm if I stop doing that, what I'm gonna do? You know, I was talking to my sons one day, one of my sons is here, and I was telling him, I said, one day, I'm gonna stop working, you're gonna take over. I'm gonna be on a yacht out in the middle of the ocean. I want you to send my money to me out on my yacht. He said, okay, Dad, I'm gonna send you your money. Then I got to looking at him, I said, he probably ain't gonna send me all of it. So I probably need to keep working. So I don't know. You can have enough money, but you have to have a fulfilling life. And money is not everything. Can I tell you one thing about money? A lot of people think that when people get money, it changes them. You've heard, oh, he got money, he changed. Now, let me tell you about money. Money does not change you. Money allows you to be more of who you really are. That's what it does. See, is stingy a word here? Stingy? Stingy. If you're stingy, when you get a lot of money, you're going to be really stingy. If you're a generous person, when you get a lot of money, you're going to become more generous. If you're a kind person, when you get a lot of money, you're going to become more kind. If something's wrong with you, if you're an evil person and you get a lot of money, you're going to become more evil. That's how it works. And so I think you have to decide along the way about the money part of it, but I don't think you will ever be able to stop being who God made you to be. I don't think that you can ever stop giving, sharing, caring, teaching. I don't think you can ever stop doing that. So I'll probably quit making money one day, but you know, not right now. I have a wife, so she's shopping somewhere. She's at the Dubai Mall probably right now, so I gotta keep working because I got 7 kids, and so I gotta keep working right now. I want to stop, but my wife has a credit card, so. A lot of men in here went, oh God, yes.
So let's talk about your wife, let's talk about your family. I mean, you know, keeping a family so strong in this showbiz world is a hard thing. And how has it been for you getting that work-life balance? Because that is something that even kids in schools struggle with when they have exams coming up, and as grown adults that we struggle with in the real world as well.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm a parent, but parenting is hard. For all you young people in here who have parents, can I tell you something? You're a lot of work. All of you students, you're a lot of work. I don't think you understand the sacrifice that your parents have to make for you to have the life that you have. Because every parent in here wants their children to have a better life than the one they had. So they make sacrifices so you can wear your uniform. See all these uniforms? That's sacrifice. When you want the new iPhone, that's a sacrifice. You want an iPad and all this, that's a sacrifice. These parents in here sacrifice. There are days when I don't like being a parent. I just don't. Sometimes I wish my kids could just go away. I wish my kids sometimes wouldn't call me. But that's only for a minute. I love them dearly. But it's hard being a parent. It's really, really hard. So young people, I think you have to understand who your parent really, really is. And when you're working through school, you have to understand why your parent is pushing you. Your parent is pushing you not because they want to push you, they want the best for you. They really trying to get you to get it. Because see, here's the deal. The young people right now, you have technology that we didn't have. So you don't even have to have a debate anymore. All you got to do is Google it. You Google it and the answer pops up. Well, that makes you think you know everything. But what your parents have that you don't have is experience. There's a saying that says, there is a saying that says, experience is priceless. It's a shame you have to pay for it with your youth. To become experienced, it's going to cost you your entire youth. The only way to get experience, you got to get old. I know you don't want to, but old is the goal. I tell people all the time, kids come up and they go, man, Mr. Harvey, you old. Old is the goal. See, if you stop getting old, the day you stop getting old, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. It's over. It's over for you. See, I like getting old, because that means I'm still here. So, it's so many things to that question. But there is a balance. You have to have a good time, you have to do your work. You know, and then parents, let me tell you this, it's not just schoolwork. Your kids can't just do schoolwork. You gotta give them some time to enjoy themselves. You know, you gotta give them time to be a kid. You know, you gotta let them go do something. I know, be focused, be focused, be focused, be focused, be focused, focus, 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 focus. Hey man, they young. They young. They just want to go outside. They want to do something fun. Now, fun over here is way different from fun in the United States. So I don't know what that is, but they just want to have fun. You got to create a balance. So like with all my kids, my youngest child now is 22 years old. So I don't have to watch them. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still watch them. But they're not, they can all drive, they all got cars, they all have their own apartments, they're independent, they all have jobs. I'm very fortunate. All of my children have degrees. You know, I put 7 kids through college. You know why? Because I flunked out of school. I flunked out of school. I failed in school. I was expelled from school and couldn't go back. I was not a good student. And so I didn't want my children to have to suffer the way I suffered with no education. See, and then sometimes my kids would go, well, Dad, look how your life turned out. You didn't have an education, and look at your life. Yeah, but you ain't got no jokes. See, my life turned out okay because God had given me this incredible gift. I have the ability to make people I've never met laugh. So I have a gift. You don't have this gift. You need education. You got to get educated. So all of my children have gone to college. And that's been a very proud thing for me. But I had to learn to let them have fun too. So, you know, we go on family vacations and things like that, and we try to sit around and have family time. You know, we try to eat some meals together. Like, I'll have two of them here with me this week. My son's with me all the time. I don't know where my other kids are. I don't know where my daughter is. She with their mama, I don't know. My son, he gonna come with his father. Because he loves me. He loves me, that's what I do. Yeah. His name is Broderick Stephen Harvey Jr. I named him after me. That was my firstborn son. I have 3 sons. I have 3 sons. Yeah. And he's a very good son. There's a lot of beautiful women over here, but he knows We don't do nothing over here. We're going home. Because, you know, I told my son, I said, listen, the Muslim men over here, they're not playing. They're not playing. There's no game with them. These Muslim men over here, they love their daughters. Don't play. So, we going home. We'll go somewhere else. We're not here.
He was like shrinking in his chair then, like, no, Dad, don't do it, don't do it. Now, Steve, burnout is something that is really real, and something that people are talking about more and more is self-care, especially when you're non-stop working. How have you done that to make sure you take time out for yourself, to be able to stop yourself and know that, hey, listen, you're overworking now, because you can't do your best if you're not feeling your best?
No, you don't look. This is a real simple answer. To create the balance, you just got to take some time out to do some stuff you enjoy doing. Now look, my enjoyment is probably very different from yours. So don't do what Steve do. My enjoyment is very different. But you have to find the things that you like. You got beautiful beaches here, go to the beach. Do something other than work. Because man, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You cannot work all the time. You have to do something for enjoyment. You got to, man. Why are you making money? Go buy yourself your favorite food and go eat it on the beach. Go get yourself, just sit down somewhere. You can't, I have to remember where I am, so, yeah, just buy yourself something to eat and sit on the beach. Just do that. Don't be trying to find a cigar and all that ain't gonna happen. Not here. I know I tried. But you know, that's another thing, you know, because I'm a cigar guy. And when I come here, that's not the case. But I'm fine, so I learned how to deal with it. You have laws. You have to be respectful of people's culture and country, so it's fine. But you can drive to Dubai. Okay, you're over there trying to figure out if they're gonna ask me something else or not. I love when they have meetings right in front of you.
I just got a heads up that Steve's books are going to be at the back of the hall, by the way, if you wanted to buy them, which of course you do. Right, Steve?
I didn't know I had books here.
Oh, he's not even aware. Right, Steve's books are going to be at the back at the end of the talk, so make sure you go on over there to get your copy.
But
Steve,
if you don't, listen to me, if you don't buy a book, I'm actually legally fine. First of all, I didn't know they was back there, and I have enough money to make it home, so I'll be okay. And if they don't buy the books, just give them to them.
give it to them.
Yeah. Put your point.
The loudest cheer we've got so far. Now, we of course had a lot of questions from students, but questions from teachers as well. Now, yourself being a role model, yourself being a father, being a mentor can be a lot of pressure, right? How teachers are asking, how is it best to conduct yourself, especially with children that maybe perhaps aren't your own children, they're your students. People must come to you for advice all the time.
Well, you know, there's a funny thing I can learn. Who motivates the motivator? If you're a person that people always come to for advice, for counsel, to learn stuff, when you get into a spot, where do you go? You know, it's a tough thing. So I have people in my life, in my cell phone, who are very smart people. You know, like Bishop T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen. I have a lot of friends that have a little bit more experience than me with handling situations, and you know, I find that to be very rewarding, you know. But when you're a role model and you have people looking up to you, that comes with a sense of responsibility. You do have to be mindful of what you say and what you do, because some young person is watching you. You know, I'm a role model.
I didn't ask to be one, but I happen to be a role model. Some young kid is going, man, he's my favorite TV guy. I want to be just like, you know how many people stop me over here and say, you're my favorite, I want to take a picture of you. You motivate me, you do something. Well, I got to give them a smile or something, even on days when I don't feel like it. Because, you know, I'm a human being. You know, look, I wake up in the morning, I get bad news just like you get bad news. I wake up some mornings, man, and I got some problems that you know nothing about. But all you want is your picture. You know how many times people told me yesterday, Steve, come on, it's just one picture. No, it's never, it's one picture to you. I've already took 400 pictures today. And so when I meet people, I try to give them something. You know, a lot of people are very happy to see me. But you have to remember, I've never seen you before. You see me, but I've never seen you. So it's hard for me to match your enthusiasm. When you see me, oh, it's Steve. But I don't know you. So I try to smile and be as gracious as I can. But it's very hard to match the other person's enthusiasm when they meet me. But I just try to be as kind to people, because if it wasn't for people, who am I? You know, you cannot, you know, I'll tell you one thing about being a star. You can want to be a star all you want, but it's not up to you. It's up to the people. The people decide who stars are, not you. Oh, I wanted it since I was 10. But until people decide to make me a star, I cannot be a star. So whenever I'm out in public, I try to be as congenial as I can. I try to be kind, I smile. I gotta keep moving. You know, security is very good here. They make you move. They don't want you to stop. And people, Steve, take a selfie. I say, come on, man, take it while we're walking. And they'll take it, but old people are not good at selfies. Just kids should take selfies. Old people, there's an age limit to selfies. If you're over 40, you should not try to take selfies, because you are not good with technology. Kids, take the selfie. Old people, wait, look, no, I got it, nothing. So, try to find a young person to help you with selfie. That's my answer to that question. I just decided to throw a joke in there because I was getting tired of hearing myself.
Now, of course, Steve, you're here at the Sharjah Book Festival, and the students are here because they want to be authors one day, they love writing, they want to do something that you've done before. This is a question from Abu Dhabi Indian School. Kyle Layton, Vishal and Aditya are asking, you've written multiple books in your life. Do you plan on writing another book in the near future?
All right, here's this is a first. I'm writing a new book that I'm planning on self-publishing. I started writing it 2 weeks ago. I'm really almost done. The name of the book, what I did was I gathered 22 women, some single, some married, some divorced, some with children, some without children, 22 women. I got them in the studio, I had it lit low, I had the entire 6-hour session filmed. Because what I was doing was, I was creating the digital content. I had the writer for my first book in the background writing, and I had a video camera videoing the entire thing. I'm writing a book now that I'm planning on self-publishing unless someone is here and gonna make me a huge book deal at the book fair. The name of the book is called Queen's Move. Queen's Move. What made me come up with this idea was when I think of women in relationships, and it's funny because I'm talking to a lot of my Muslim brothers here, over the week we've been talking about women and how we all feel. And I gotta tell women a little secret here. You are more powerful than you think. You are more powerful than you think. Okay, so I'm writing this book called Queen's Move. The reason I call it Queen's Move is because I compare a relationship with a woman like a game of chess. On the chessboard, you have pawns. Pawns are like your children. They can only make a move, one move ahead at a time, and they can capture at an angle. On the corner of the board, you have your rooks. They can go vertical, they can go horizontal. The rooks are your jobs. They can you go to work, you come home. You go to the store and buy something, you bring it back home. You go to work, you come home, you go to the store, you buy something. Those are your rooks. Then you have next to the rook, the knight. The knights are your friends. Your friends can go up 2 spaces with you, step over to the side. They can capture 2 over, 1 back at an angle. All of your friends can go with you to certain places and certain ways. Some of your friends you can only take over here and back here. Some of your friends you can take up here and move over here. Then next to your friends, you have the bishops. The bishops are your relatives. All of them have an angle. Your relatives only go at an angle. This is their angle. See, you don't get to pick your relatives. You get to pick your friends, but you cannot pick your relatives. So your relatives have an angle. They go at just an angle. Just angles only. Next to that is the king. The reason we play the game is because of the king. He can move in any direction, but just one step at a time. Because as men, we are very good at what we do. We go to work, we go home, we protect our family, we provide for our family, we profess our love for our wife, our family. We can capture anybody that comes close, one move at a time, backwards, forwards. That's the king. But then there is the queen. That is the woman. The queen is the most powerful piece on the board. Oh yes, oh yes. Because of this reason, because the queen can move in any direction. She can go forward, she can go backward, she can capture at an angle, she can go horizontal, she can go vertical. Whenever the kids are out there, the queen goes out and can protect the kids. If someone comes to attack the king, his queen comes to guard him. If somebody tries to mess up the job, the rooks, the queen can move into position and protect every piece on the board. She watches the board for her king. She is the queen. She's a very powerful piece. I was talking to one of my Muslim friends, my brother right here. We were talking last night. He's not married. And we were talking about a wife. And he says, this is what I want my wife to do, this, and this. I said, hold it, man, that ain't how that work. And there was another Muslim brother in the room, and he told him, he says, listen, I am the man. Everyone has my name. I'm in charge of my family. I'm out there, this is my kingdom, I am the king. I said, yeah, but when you go home, who in charge? He said, she is. She is in charge. And it's a funny thing, it's not being disrespectful. We are men, we know who we are. We're very powerful and strong. But you are much more powerful in the game of life with the queen. And when you play chess, if you lose your queen, you've lost the most powerful piece on the board. You already know your game is at a disadvantage now when they take your queen off the board. That's what women really are.
They are very, very powerful pieces. Yeah, man. See, my wife has the ability to do something I do not have the ability to do. My wife can make a life. I don't care how much money I make. I make a good amount of money. I'm on stage all around the world. But my wife can produce a child. She can bring life into this world. So for that reason alone, how much bigger is that? I mean, come on, fellas, really? We can do really good. We cannot make a life. That's a very powerful person. And when you find the right one, you have the best advantage you can ever have in life, to have a queen. So I wrote this book entitled Queen's Move to just share with women tactics and ways to help your king, but at the same time get some things you want. You just want what you want. You want a comfortable life for your family. You want a beautiful home. You want to be able to travel with your family, all of that. There's ways to do that. You just got to know how to talk to that dude that's the king. And so I'm going to write a book that's teaching women how powerful it is. And there's nothing disrespectful in the book. Listen to me. So fellas, don't get tight. You don't come over here telling us what to do. I'm not. I'm just telling that they're very important pieces. And most of the men that I've talked to, they know that. They know that. They really do. There's some really, really good men over here, man. I've met some of the finest men in my life over here. I kid you not. I'm not just saying that. There's some really, really good men over here. And when we're alone and we're talking, they love their queen. Man, she's everything to me. I should probably stop right there. So that's it. And so I'm going to self-publish the book unless I meet a big publisher that's going to cut me a great deal, because I've sold not a couple 100,000 books. I've sold millions of books, millions of books. So if somebody over here wants to make some millions of dollars, come talk to your boy. But it's going to take millions though, US. I don't know how to count nothing else. Just US millions. Ching-ching. Cash.
I think we're ready just for the last question, if you're happy to do so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to close with that, but you go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Prakash from Emirates School, he says that he wants to do what you're doing one day. He wants to be a writer. He wants to be a comedian, an actor, a producer. Prakash, big goals, we love it. Steve, what would you say to him? What would you say to any other student that wants to do the same?
Well, listen, if you want to read this, you got to be ready, because it's hard. Comedy is the hardest profession. You know, if you're a musician and you play in the band and your guitar string breaks, the rest of the band just picks it up until you fix your string. If you're a singer and you're out there singing and you start going wrong, you can stop, go get you some water, and the band just keeps. When you're a comedian, you out here by yourself. I just got a microphone, a bar stool, a glass of water, and a spotlight. I'd have made a wonderful living for myself doing that, but it's very difficult. But this is the gift I have. In my faith, there's a scripture that says your gift will make room for you. And that's what my gift has done. It has made room for me. And I've just turned it into so many other things, but my basic gift is I have the ability to transpose information instantly into comedy. It's so like, you know, if I feel like I'm being boring, I could just click a switch and be funny. I could just do that if I wanted to. That's my gift. But it has become so much more. Whatever it is you want to be in life, young people, remember this one thing. The combination of, she said, I'm tired of this here. That little baby over there, she said, I'm tired of this here, I want to talk. Listen to me. The key to this whole thing is you put forth a 1,000% effort. It is going to take everything you have to become successful. Everything you have and then some more. My father used to say, when you think you've done all you can and you can't do no more, do some more. That's first. And then after that, you have to have faith. If you're not a praying person, you're not going to make it. Hard work and faith are the two things. Then all you got to do is attach your dream and vision to that hard work and faith, and you can make it. And when it get real hard for you, you can never give up. When you feel like giving up, you got to stay. When you fall, get up. When you start crying, you got to dry your tears. When you get hurt, you got to recover. Whatever happens, you have to keep waking up tomorrow, because like I told you, your track record for surviving bad days is 100%. If you keep that in your heart,